What is intuition, you ask, right? And how can you tell the difference between intuition and fear, anxiety, worry? How to know what's true and what's just emotions. It's a bit of a windy path figuring that out and understanding it, but let me try for you. Think of your intuition as this little phone operator in your head. And they're like paging you. Just so you know, we just got word through the ethos and the energy lines that this, that, and the other is about to happen. And your body feels it in the pit of your stomach. You're like, wait a minute. And then something happens and you feel it and you see it and you realize you're right. The more you start practicing that, the more you'll start feeling the difference, because anxiety and fear responses that are not intuition can feel like ice in the pit of your stomach. Or you might be hearing very loud sounds that are painful in your left ear versus your right ear. Left ear will always be negative stuff you don't want to hear, or a sign that somebody is coming near you and you're not going to want to hear it because they're not good and they're toxic. Versus if you hear a loud sound in your right ear. Right ear is usually your spiritual team and positive news. Where does intuition come from? I would say, one, from your spiritual team, your ancestors, the universe, however you identify God, if that's your word, that are channeling it down through your crown chakra, as we call it, which really is just the energy at the very top of your head. Now, when you were young, they didn't want you to catch cold, so they covered the top of your head, right? Because heat is always released out of the top of your head and or your feet. So when we understand that aspect and we add the energy connections to it, you realize how much is going on through you. The more you start practicing the difference of really asking yourself, am I feeling my own or am I feeling somebody else's? As well as, is this a fear response or am I feeling the intuition of something that's either coming up or something that can't be seen on this 3D physical plane? Those questions help build your understanding and your intuition accuracy. Start looking for the signs, whether it's numbers that start repeating or certain animals that appear when certain things happen. So like if you're having a horrible feeling in your stomach, but you know it's intuition, not just fear-based responses out of just anxiety, you'll feel the difference as you start practicing it. You might at that time also notice that every time there's flies buzzing around somewhere near you and you're like, oh my God. You'll start practicing and seeing the combinations of the universe giving you signs and your intuition constantly proving those signs right. That's your way of constantly working on teamwork building with the universe, because you're co-creating your reality in many, many cases. So how to build that trust level is by seeing the signs and realizing your intuition usually comes in right before, and you just kind of don't know what's going on. But the more you start asking yourself questions, you might get goosebumps all over your flesh and be like, wait a minute, I'm not actually cold. And start noticing that that's your indicator when someone's going to call you crying, or you're going to find out news that someone passed on, let's say, versus the energy of you holding your heart and going, wow, that feels like it's beating out of my chest, and realizing it's someone that you care about that's super happy. Those intuitions all come from you reading and learning yourself and how it feels and how it translates into you, plus seeing the signs around you. So a lot of people have a lot of different definitions on what intuition is, but I would say it's a combo, like co-creating with the universe. It's the universe giving you messages through your energetic body that your meat suit, as I call it, registers in different ways. That you suddenly can also have some of the clairs, meaning like clairaudient, clairsentient, where as you're feeling this, you suddenly are getting either flash images or maybe certain smells, where you might smell cinnamon and realize, oh, money's coming in. And then you also are getting the energy, and then you say, oh, there was an extra amount in my check. I was right. It is the constant working on trust with the universe. That is why learning with your intuition can be so key for your spiritual evolution. I hope this helps someone, because that is a kind of quick beginner grasp on it. And the more you delve into it, the more you begin to build a foundation of understanding of all the nuances of intuition. I hope this helped.